Cosmic Con Chapter 5 The Looney Con. It's been 3 months since Smoothie started and the worldwide crime money has almost bottomed out. New accounts were created, but that did not deter Mo's operations. New alliances were formed around Joe, who only works on weekends. But since he only works 2 days, his control was also not extensive. He later had to stop since his criminal underlings did not have any money and they depended on him for money. Something he is not willing to provide. There were increases in property crimes. Assault on cash transports, bank robberies, and protection. Drugs were now non-existent. They could only deal in mushrooms and weed, something people are not too excited about because it's readily available to everyone. Smoothie was kept busy and Joe had to help out pretending to be Smoothie. The Smoothie channel have now become worldwide and each country has their own comedian tandems hosting the shows. Corruption has been minimized, especially in third world countries, because all bribes were promptly stolen. If the bribes were cars and boats or planes or anything movable, these were promptly stolen if not destroyed. In the meantime, Olive have established money transfers to all the non-profits we have worldwide. She also have established financial arrangements with government agencies and other non-profits worldwide so that money moves faster. Otherwise she delivers the cash personally or through established personal channels. The total money grew to more than $30 trillion and it was a chore to give these out. Now the money sits at $21 trillion with only $5 trillion earmarked, establishing the fact that it was not easy to give away the stolen money. Shortly after 3 months, the U.S. Congress called Smoothie for an inquiry about something. It is a known fact that Smoothie goes around with drone cameras around him. This created an issue in the inquiry. Are there cameras around you? Yes. Can you please turn them off? They are off. Okay, thank you for coming over for this inquiry. It's really to convey a request to you. Am I doing something wrong? I did send $2 trillion to the IRS as tax prepayment, excluding the one I sent for the test. It's not about taxes. Although we would prefer you pay more. I can pay another $1 trillion since it's really just sitting there and I am having a hard time giving the money away. We appreciate that. Okay, we would like to request that you not go after corrupt government individuals and businesses here and internationally. Also, we ask that you go easy on the illegal activities connected with the government officials and businesses. You have to understand the international markets now is extremely disrupted. Some of these are government operations and missions and we have expected outcomes that do not happen because of you. Okay. Smoothie continued, except for drugs, human trafficking and corrupt practices and criminalities that hurt people. Also you have thousands of legal cases against you and we also request that you do not mess up the minds of the people who are suing you. Okay. You seem to be very agreeable. That includes messing up the minds of the judges and juries. Let the facts lead the way. Okay. Why are you so agreeable? As you said, the facts will prove whatever needs to be proven. Also my lawyers will not settle on anything. We also want our people inside your operations centers. Absolutely not. Then that's all? You are not going to push your people into my operations centers? We really would like our people into your centers, please. Again, no. We respect your decision. I will then remove all your spies around me. The cameras are now on. Back at Mom's house, we were having lunch. Your friends are coming over this weekend, Olive announced and added, they will be bringing their 2 ships with them. They will leave one near Jupiter and one underneath Mom's house across the street. I guess that will increase your capabilities, Olive? I asked. Yes, but I have not even used half of what the ship under Matt's house can deliver. Treat it as backup? Mo said. Larry appeared and told us about the inquiry and the request. That is a strange request? I said. Not at all, honey. Think of it as a transition period, Amy said. You can never paint a blank picture. It must have different colors and shapes. Think of it this way. Let's say a good event is white and black is bad event. There would be thousands of colors in between and intersperse among each other of all events. A rich tapestry of events. But the colors change depending on the viewer because the effect of the events change over time and over who it is affecting or who are looking. It could be the most painful event or the most rewarding, it could be the most evil or the most good and anything in between. Chris said. What they are saying is that they need balance. The world should not be too good or too bad, Amy said. Right now I think we tipped the balance in favor of the greatest number of people. I told them their limits and exceptions, Larry said, and explained the limits and exceptions he want them to follow or allow. See, that will restrain the scope of their crimes, Joe said. In a way we are limiting the colors for the events according to Chris. More on the light and less dark ones, Mo said. That's how I see things, Olive commented. Explain, Olive? I said. We always know what will happen. The future events are all tied to each other. Some of these events may be seen as good and some are bad. There are events that are also in between them. But we base our decisions now on what we believe are future events and how we should color them or how the event will be colored eventually. Our decisions can well change their colors, and this is what we do. But the effect of what we do changes events in the future, so if you color them, they are changing as well and are all dynamic. For example, an event may be seen as bad, but somewhere in the future, or maybe something that we do today, will change the perception for the event to be good. Besides, good and bad is like the perception of beauty or the colors of the events. It depends on the beholder. That's a long one, Olive. But I think that's what I said. Chris said. Yes, you did. And you think and feel that way too. It shows in your paintings, Olive agreed. The weekend came fast and we were teleported to the ship near Jupiter to meet with the riots. They escorted us to the bow of the ship and sat on conference tables. Facing us is a floor-to-ceiling window showing the darkness of space. The 3 new riots' names were Greg, Lodo, and Mealy, but they assumed the human forms of 3 women. Olive provided the 3 with information on human sexuality and anthropology. She also provided identities they may want to assume. The 3 understood and still chose female identities. Olive communicated their names to be Artie Herman, Annie Porter, and Andrea Green, pointing to each of them as she called out their names. This happened very quick, before we even sat down. So it's Artie, Annie, and Andy, Matt declared as he usually does with names. I guess there was no point to say that ahead of you, I told Matt. Annie spoke first. We have been monitoring your activities and we feel we are missing out on a lot of things. We believe we can increase the cumulative FSD higher by 3%. You can be super smoothie if you want. I don't mind, Larry said. The 3 of us will do it on rotation, Artie said. No, you 3 can do it at the same time, Mo countered. I have appeared as smoothie countless times. You have to be conscious of your FSD rating all the time, Amy said. Then Larry explained the rules. You have to be conscious of the fact that you are supposed to be stupid all the time. You have to act with the best drama while being funny. What will the Stooges do now? Chris asked. We can travel the galaxies again, Mo said. Speaking of travel, on our way here, we became friends with this alien form that called themselves Linocrabitans. They are much more advanced than Earth by maybe 2,000 years technologically, but they are fraught with controversies and drama. They are a brave species, although they have not been at war for thousands of years. They have no internal conflicts or wars. Very peaceful and loves practical jokes. They create drama as part of their lives. They inhabit 10 planets with about 40 billion in population. Some of them are in this ship working as chefs, warehouse technicians, hospitality agents, and some other name they call themselves. They make it appear like they are serving us, but they are actually just serving themselves because, as you already know, we really don't need anything. So where are these loonies now? Amy asked. We all laughed at her quick reaction. One loony appeared. He looks like a lanky white bipedal creature. He was about 6 feet. His upper body was darker bordering on dark brown and his head was like a football sideways. He has longer hands with 3 fingers and 2 thumbs, one of which has a claw. The other hand had a thumb that looked like a tube. He had 2 round eyes and on his cheeks were 2 small holes on each side, and he had an opening at his chin or upper throat like a mouth. His torso was oblong shaped like his football head but 2 times larger. His white feet is in some sort of high boots. He is dressed in a see-through linen or plastic. And he had a 1-foot tail tuck on his side in a wide brown belt with its width to be around 1.5 feet. Matt stood. He wanted to shake his hand. He does this to read their minds and enable himself to see into their future. As Matt held his hands, Olive relayed to us what Matt was thinking. They are not telepathic because the 3As did not want to spoil their penchant for practical jokes. That's a practical joke on them, I said. Amy and Chris agreed. Then we saw a movie of several thousand ships moving towards the Looney planets. Then we saw them attacking each planet. Loonies were dying all over the place. Oh my God! Amy shouted. Olive communicated the events to the 3 Stooges and 3As what Matt saw. When will this happen? Joe asked. In 36 months and 4 days from now, Matt answered. If you ask Matt a question involving numbers, the numbers appear in his head and he just says it out loud. I'm Matt. What's your name, by the way? My name is Albert. The Looney answered. Olive told us that the 3As provided them with the human English language before we arrived. So how do we do this? I asked the 3As. We would have to warn them, Annie said. They will argue endlessly among themselves, Amy said. How far are their home worlds? I asked. Not very far, like 200 million light years. It's in another galaxy? Artie said. That's a lot of light years, Matt said. We can be there in less than 10 minutes, Andrea said. Who will take over Smoothie's job? Annie replied, I will. You guys go ahead and leave me on Earth. Okay, Olive will be your assistant, Matt said. What are we going to another galaxy? Don't we have to prepare or something? Chris asked. I will transfer all your things in 4 floors of the ship. I will stock 1 floor with all your provisions. Olive, we will be back in a few hours. Don't get too excited, Amy said. Okay, I will work with Annie then. But I will install myself in this ship, Olive said. We want a window seat, I declared, holding Amy's hand. Me too, Chris said. John, the window is in front of you, Matt shouted, and we all laughed. Wow, we are in a spaceship traveling through space to warn and save a species with 40 billion population, Chris said excitedly. Are you really excited? Amy asked. Actually, not really. I have seen a lot of scenes in space that Mo transferred to me. But hey, my first time in a spaceship. In space? Chris corrected herself, since we know she works in a spaceship that she turned into her studio. Okay, guys, I will leave now so you can go, Annie said. Annie disappeared and so did Olive. Then another Olive appeared. Olive, why is this ship empty? Matt asked. It's almost the same size as the one under your house. The other ship is smaller and it will bury itself under Mom's house. The Loonies occupy 1 floor of this ship. There are 110 of them and they have all-day parties. If they are not partying, they are asleep or preparing for the parties. Their parties are not really rowdy, in most occasions their parties are staged dramas and pretend parties, Olive explained. Their parties are pretend parties? Amy asked, since she understands parties and she has never heard of pretend parties. They pretend to have a party as if somebody is watching, like in a reality show. They pretend to be happy and partying, but they are really thinking of pulling practical jokes on the others. I saw that they have an earlier agreement. Before they boarded the ship, they all agreed the trip will be a continuous party and only those who agreed to this condition is allowed in the ship, Olive said. So they pulled a practical joke on themselves? I conjectured. Yes. I would conclude that too, Olive said. We noticed that the 5 riots were all quiet and I looked at Matt. They are transferring their experience to each other, Matt said. Albert, please sit down, Andrea gestured. In the next few minutes Matt detailed an invasion that will be coming. He cited the names of cities after cities that will be wiped out. He explained that the attackers are a species called Tamdasparan, which he shortened as Tams. We would like to talk to your government about this threat so you can prepare, I said. You can talk to our leaders, but I don't think they will know how to prepare for the invasion. Our people do not do these things. We are a very peaceful people and we do not know how to engage in war. Our military is a practical joke and are all for show. None of them know how to fight, Albert explained. I think I may have a solution, Amy said. I looked at my wife. Amy started, I wanted to see your technologies, and you have technologies you do not even know how to use. But I know people who can use your technology in ways that you will find strange. Who? I asked. Us. Humans, Amy answered. So you are matching their technology with human military ingenuity? I commented. It might work. But I do not trust us, Chris added. That's easy. We have Super Smoothie to keep the humans in line, Matt said. You're a genius, Matt, Joe exclaimed. We will just tell the humans that if anybody falls out of line, we'll just change their minds, Mo said. But why can't you guys just fight for these people? I asked, looking at the riots. Yes, you might get killed, Chris added. They looked at each other. Maybe. Okay, we'll all be superheroes and try to die, Joe said. You would have to invent new superhero names for you, Olive said, and listed some names. I like Captain Riot, Joe said. I like Yellow Fire, Mo said. White Mist sounds cool, Larry said. General Nova seems to sound nice. What's General anyway? Andrea asked. It's a military rank higher than a captain, Olive said. I don't like Captain Riot anymore. How about General Riot? Joe asked. Why don't you two drop the general name and just be Nova and Riot? Matt said. I see he is shortening the names again. That's fine with me if Yellow Fire becomes Yellow and White Mist becomes White, Joe said. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have Fire, Mist, Riot, Nova, and who might you be? Amy turned to Artie. I will be Super Looney, Artie answered nonchalantly. Here are suggested costumes. Olive presented some holos of possible costumes. The costumes are all similar, black or dark-colored rough leather-like materials with stripes and accents in slightly off color. The symbols on the chest are the distinguishing marks. This one showing a fist for Riot, this cloud for Mist, this yellow flame for Fire, a star for Nova, and SL for Super Looney, Olive said, pointing to each of the riots. Olive, why the sudden change of fashion line? I asked. It was Chris' idea, Olive said. I like it, Amy said. Good job, Olive. Chris, Matt said. We don't have masks? Joe asked. Olive provided possible mask shapes and designs. The riots changed to their chosen costume and they all decided on their own masks. Since Joe, Artie and Andrea were females, their costumes were also females with breasts and bigger hips. I think we should still involve the humans. It would provide the human race a chance to advance in the galaxies, I said. I agree with my darling husband here, Amy said and kissed me. Okay, what we can do is terraform a planet within the Looney world for humans. It will be a military and science colony. I envision to reach more than 10 million in 3 months. We'll have to start a ferry service from this planet to Earth and back, Matt said. Matt, I think we should have a sort of costume as well, Chris said. I realized that we were all in our jeans and tees. Chris' jeans were all dirty with paint and torn all over. Amy is always fashionable whether in jeans or tees. Olive, Matt asked. Olive provided a set of costumes very similar to the Riot superhero costumes but in white and beige. These are your superhero solid energy coverings. Chris is familiar with them. These coverings will adapt to your bodies and will feel very comfortable as they are temperature controlled and needs no washing. They are also bulletproof, plasma and laser-proof, waterproof and comes with hoodies which can make your face appear different. If you choose to use it as a face covering, it will alter your face to another and your whole head is covered. Again bulletproof, plasma and laser-proof, waterproof and temperature controlled, Olive explained. Chris appeared in a violet outfit with luminous accents. Wow, I like the color combination, Amy said. Chris responded by changing her motif from violet to red with white accents. How about this? Amy smiled. Matt chose white with beige accents and I chose black with green accents. Amy chose a sundress. How is that dress bulletproof and temperature controlled? I asked. It's not, it's just a dress, Amy said, but it's solid energy dress that I can change color or design as I want to. It doesn't look like a superhero uniform, I complained. You will be meeting with the Looney leaders in a minute, Olive said and arranged us to stand in a formation. Matt and Albert first, Chris, Amy and I behind them, the Riots behind us and Olive at the rear. Let's go, Matt said. Greetings Great Grandmaster Beetle. My name is Albert, Albert shouted. We appeared in the middle of their meeting room. The council leaders were behind a desk that was a large square around with the center empty. Who are you and why are you here? Beetle asked. Matt wanted a fast forward and, he told you his name was Albert. Weren't you listening? My name is Matt, this is my sister Amy, my brother-in-law John, my friend Chris. These are the superheroes of this galaxy, Riot, Fire, Mist, Nova, and Super Looney. You're a Looney? Beetle asked. No, I'm Super Looney, Artie said. Why are you here? A small Looney from the left of the table asked. Matt waves his hand and several scenes appeared. I did not know you can do this. I mind asked Matt. The Riots told me to but they were the ones doing this. Matt answered. What is this? Beetle shouted. Your planets will be attacked in 3 years and 4 days from now. That's 439.6 demeets to you. These are Tamdasparan or Tams and they inhabit 42 planets 30 MLY from here. Matt said. The council looked at the Holos intently. There are spies in this council. That one in red and that one red-white? Amy said telepathically to all of us. Joe and Larry stood still as they went inside the two. Some of you here are in collusion with these attackers, Matt said and pointed to the two. Matt, they actually scheduled the attack in a year but our revelation will move it back to 3 years. Joe broadcasted to us. Then Joe projected the image of the 2 council members talking to the Tams. He made the sound louder so everybody can hear what they were talking about. Beetle was confused since these 2 were his friends being in the council for decades. Is this true Morocco? Beetle asked. Morocco kept quiet and his denial was loud and clear to Beetle who know his friend well. Why? Beetle shouted. They promised 10 planets for me and Sinro here. Morocco answered. Our people will suffer and die. I cannot understand this, Beetle said. I realized nothing ever happens to an advanced peaceful societies and these things normally do not register in their minds even if it was shown to them. Morocco and Sinro stood and wanted to run. But Mo stopped them. They were frozen and unmoving where they stood. See now I realized you should have at least taught the 4 of us how to do this. I argued to the Riots telepathically. After lunch, Joe said. Beetle called for security and then instructed the supervisor to question the 2 about the invasion. They led the 2 traitors out. Amy was walking around looking at and touching each of the 12 but now 10 council members. As she did the Riots stood still and I know they are inside the council members. I will call the Federation Council of different aliens to request for them to help us deal with the Tams, Beetle said. The request you will make will fall into deaf ears. No member of the Federation will help you, Matt said. I understand. But I will send the request just the same. Beetle turned to his second in command in the council, Goma, file a protest and a request for military help. Goma stood and left. Beetle told the other council members to leave except for 3. He motioned us to sit. I want to express my thanks to all of you, Beetle began. Matt stopped him by raising his palm. He always does this to me, Mom, and Amy. That's why we do not talk to him while eating. I want to propose a solution. Matt started and Beetle and his gang kept quiet. I want to request that you allow us to use this planet. A planet appeared in the middle of the tables. You see, your people are technologically advanced, but your technology have made you weak and complacent. All of the Federation species are like you, so when the Tams, who are also a member of the Federation, wants to take over a planet, you will just roll over and let them. The Tams wants your technologies since you are the most technologically advanced species in the Federation. That is why nobody will help you. Our species, we call ourselves humans, are not as advanced as you, but we have certain qualities you do not have. We believe in certain things like freedom, liberty, defending the oppressed, and equality. In the area of military performance we are very much above par. I would like to turn the planet into a military and science base to enable my people to study technologies that they may use to counter your enemies for you. We will train your people to be good soldiers and officers. We will ensure peace in the Federation. And if you fail? Beetle asked. We do not fail. Also, we have 5 superheroes here, Matt said and pointed to the riots. He went on to name the riots pointing to their symbols. The riots were unmoving and I know they are someplace inside some Loonie. Amy and Chris were discussing where to eat. I have identified 200 large transport ships that we can use for the ferry service. But their engines are too slow at 0.05% of our speed, and we may need to ask the riots to change their engines to the one we have. They need to create the seating accommodations inside these ships. The planet will take 2 days for the riots to terraform and create the structures needed. Olive broadcasted. The council talked among themselves and, we appreciate and approve your request. We want this all to be clandestine and limit the people to those present here. Think of it as a practical joke to your enemies and people, I said. The Loonies smiled and Beetle said. We agree to the practical joke. Olive stood. We also want these ships to ferry our people. A hologram of the 200 ships appeared before the council. You don't have to stand, Olive. We're not in elementary school. I told her telepathically, remembering Mom. Just hold the ships and we will get them as we need them, Matt said. We will make the arrangements, Beetle said. Hey guys, it's lunch, Chris told the riots. We'll just stay here and read their minds. It's so much fun, Joe said. Beetle, we will leave these superheroes here. They are resting and they do not move unless needed, I said. We were in a Korean restaurant in Vancouver in less than 15 minutes. Olive changed into blue overalls, Chris was in leather, and Amy was in a sundress, as usual. Matt and I were in hoodies and jeans. John, I think you should front on all of this Save the Federation stuff, Matt said. I agree, honey, Amy said. Why? I already have a lot of work. You don't have to show them your real face and identity. Just be there. Olive can sub sometimes, Matt said. We'll just get some people to work the companies, Amy said. You know, John, we are saving a very advanced species with 40 billion people, Chris commented. Also, you, Amy, Chris, and I should never be exposed, Matt said. I understand, I said. Matt, the events are changing. Apparently, what we just did with the Loonies changed a lot going forward with all the events not only in the galaxy but in ours, Olive said. I know. But I am thinking that humanity needs a boost and it would be better for humanity to be involved. I agree with Amy, humans have what the Loonies need. And the Loonies, being good people, they can help the human race in their adventures in the stars, Matt said. Why are you eating your chicken separate from the sauce? Amy asked me. I just shrugged, the chicken tastes better. I just love these tofu, Chris said as she picked up a piece with her metal chopsticks. High protein, good for artists, Olive said. As usual, Matt was quietly eating his Korean barbecue. Olive, why don't we buy some soju to take home? Chris suggested telepathically. No, it's cheaper near our house, Olive answered. Yes, I am thinking like you, John. Right now I am buying several chillers and putting them in the house. I will fill them up with your preferred drinks. Matt looked at Olive and nodded. Back at the ship, Ari appeared as Smoothie. Olive called me. Yes, we need to talk to the president at the White House about our plan to help the Loonies, I said. Yes, Olive transferred all the information to me. I changed my outfit to my superhero uniform in white since Matt is not in uniform. I also changed my face to the face I showed Beetle. Let's go, I told Smoothie. Wait, I want to go, Matt said and changed into his white superhero uniform. Now, I have to change to my black and green superhero uniform, I grumbled. Sorry, Matt said and nodded.